Hello crafting friends, welcome to my podcast. My name is Barbara Rodzavikas and I'm Bondi Crafter. This is my introduction episode 1 for Vlogmas, December 2023. I'm hoping to show you some of my crafting projects because I am a crafter. I'm a cottage crafter and I have a small space to work magic. I just love fabrics, yarn, wool, beading. So I am a basic crafter. I do love knitting and I do love quilting. So they will be probably the focus of December. I also live near the beach, Bondi Beach, the most famous beach in the whole world and the most beautiful, in my opinion. All beaches are beautiful, but Bondi is heavenly. So I hope to show you around where I live and what I do. Crafting in a small space, cottage industry, that's me. For my first episode, I'm going to take you on the journey of rice bag construction, let's say. I'm going to make rice bags for project bags, for gifts, for my podcast in February. It'll be my 2nd anniversary of podcasting, and I'm going to make project bags as a giveaway. And they're not, I wouldn't say they're the basic project bag. They're going to be Japanese inspired. So these bags were originally for carrying rice in. They are very utilitarian and sturdy. So I'm going to make the outer layer, and then I'm going to line them with a quilting fabric also. It's going to have a square base and you'll tie or have a string to close it. And I've already started. So today I woke up and thought, today's the day, 1st of December. And I thought my sewing machine had clagged it. When I put it in the PowerPoint extension, it just didn't sew. I tried everything. Well, I can't actually say it didn't sew because all I did was turn the light on and off to see if it was getting electricity. Nothing happened. I left it for a day. My granddaughter came over, changed the PowerPoint, and I left it at that. Then this morning I turned it, well, I thought I turned it on. And I thought to myself, maybe it still works. It might be the light. And sure enough, the light has blown, but it still sews perfectly. And so I have been sewing sides for my project bags. They're so lovely and very colourful. I thought I would make some Australian inspired ones with koalas. The koala print is beautiful, and I found some wool inspired fabric, which is also beautiful. Some of us girls who like to craft with a project bag, and you know. And then with this sewing, we'll also have a look at knitting. So I have a small amount of skeins and we'll have a look at those, how I've organized my space for crafting, and also favorite knitting patterns. I'm not so good at reading knitting patterns, I've got to say, but some are just a breeze and I don't understand why. I am a mirror image knitter. That means as a right-handed knitter, you wouldn't think there would be a difference, would you? But I follow the knitting pattern exactly and it comes out in reverse to what you would knit. That's because I learned to knit as a 6-year-old, and my father was a right-handed knitter, and I sat in front of him watching him knit, and he would show me how to do it, and I would do it exactly but in reverse, and we didn't, that's how I learned to knit. It took me a long time to read patterns, especially to make holes that were meant to be holes, yarn overs instead of a drop stitch. Also, I had a problem with reading the patterns backwards and forwards, much like reading a comic. I love reading comics, but as a person before 10 years old, I used to get to the page that I was reading it, I would leave it, and then I'd come back and I would read it the other way because I couldn't remember which way I was reading my comics. But that's another subject altogether. Yeah, so I hope you join me this month and we will have some fun. I've also made some minis, so that is a knitting project, and I'll show you that also. I woke up this morning and I'm inspired to do crafting today, so it's going to be a fun day. I've decided to, well, I tidied up first because I just can't do anything when when I can't see what I'm doing. So I've decided I'm going to make some rice bags, for project bags, for my giveaway in February when it's my second podcast anniversary. That should be fun. It's just a simple little bag with 4 sides and a bottom and a drawstring top, but it looks beautiful. It's what the Japanese people use to carry rice in, so a very utilitarian type bag, but beautiful to look at. And I've chosen fabrics to use with it. Some koalas, some sheep, some mats, some African type fabric, but soft and really nice, but has a waxy type of surface. And yeah, that's my cutting out project. There's my trusty sewing machine ready to go. Remember, I made the cover for it from a shopping bag, which was very handy. Nice, sturdy shopping bag. Keeps all the dust out and everything. And yeah, and then I've got a nice drink with my new-ish cat glass. I want to drink my drinks from glasses instead of my plastic cups. So that's what I'm going to do. I have 2 new PDFs, which I am very happy to look at. They're so beautiful. And I'll probably do these next year. So, and they are both by Justina Lukowska. And they're beautiful, and a beautiful girl too, to model. And this is her new scarfette. It's beautiful. I'm just hoping my skills are up to par and I can actually knit it, but I have the pattern. And sometimes I think just by having the pattern or a book, it sometimes magically infuses into my brain, and that sometimes doesn't happen. And then I got this beautiful, I think it's filet scarf, and that is so beautiful too. And the pattern covers are just lovely too. The PDF covers, they're just lovely. So yeah, this is what I am going to do today. So I tidied up. I'll just give you a short overview. Here's my sewing bag with all my stuff in it that I need. It's got the cord, it's got everything. I tidied up there. That's my Sophie scarf swaps. Another Sophie scarf that is a gift. These are my projects that I have going. There's about 4 or 5 there. And yeah, they're not going to get finished anytime this year. They're nice to look at. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 works in progress, hopefully. And then I tidied up the couch, and I've got to put everything away off the couch today. This is my crafting couch near the window. It's a nice southerly facing window. We live in the southern hemisphere, so it's not north and it's not hot. So it's a nice window to craft by. And I have two beautiful project bags. This one I got from Scotland. Isn't it just gorgeous? Got a passion fruit flower on it. The cocoa tree, Amy Palco's relative, and this one is an Australian one, and it's so beautiful. I just love the girls on it. Patil Knits. I got that one on Etsy. Well, actually, I got them both on the Etsy shop. Then, oh heck, there's another, no, phew, not another two projects. Could be. So I've put my black elephant cakes in that bag. I like project bags that you can see through and keep the moths out. So that's there. Then there's my book that I'm reading. Some beautiful, went down that rabbit hole of getting every colour I think they had in that. There's two pieces of beautiful, three pieces of beautiful linen that I'm going to make myself. I'm thinking a shift type dress with a zipper in the back. That's ready to go. And here I'm working on these things. Phone call. Yeah, so this jar, I really love the shape of it. I think some jam came in it or something. And I just have to use the eucalyptus oil to get the rest of the glue off the glass jar, because I want to use it to put little flowers in or something. This is a project I'm working on at the moment. It is beautiful, but yarn is beautiful. I have to tell you that none of these are the pattern designer's fault when I make boo-boos, because, well, this is about the 5th time I have tried this one. I mean, it is the easiest pattern. It is across the pond shawl. Beautiful. And I just figured out that the slip stitches with the yarn in front actually is a design point. I'm thinking, why is it on the front? But then by some miracle, I found out that it makes a pattern. So that's a really big breakthrough for me. Then I'm doing another litmus cowl. These could be works in progress, but I'm not including them in those other big projects over there. This is my litmus cowl that I work on practically every couple of days. I love it. I love this beautiful wool from Attic Spin Dye. Neons. It is lovely. I've already made a litmus cowl, but I want to make another one with neons. I have a couple of hitchhiker scarves in the progress, in the works. Then in this container, I have little cakes. So some of them are recent, some are from a cone. So, and this is from my sister's Sophie scarf. This beautiful thing is from the UK and it's got a bird's name. Blue tit, I think. This grey, I'm not sure why I bought it. It is sort of a grey that has lost a bit of its luster with me, but I'm sure I'll find something to do with it. Then these are off cones that John's wound for me. I keep all the labels with a sample on it so that I can at least recognise something. And then these are two beautiful skeins that I recently got, and John wound them up for me. And they're from Victoria, New South Wales. Soft Denegal. So I got two blues and two of these beautiful ones. and John wound them up for me, so I must have a project in mind for those. Yep. And I've sorted my things to go with my swaps. I have scissors and stitch markers and things. And that's about it. Oh, here in front of me, these are for Sophie scarves, and they are from the economical type wool brands. Beautiful, pure wool, Australian wool. And I plan on making some more things with those in the near future. This white, which is acrylic, I've already made a Sophie scarf with it, but it is the softest, fluffiest yarn you've ever felt in your whole life. And I've got 2 of these beautiful pinks from Attic Spin Dye. So this container here is things to think about when I think about things. Down here, yeah, I think we've looked at this. Beautiful, beautiful wool. Oh, why can't I think of what it's called? Here we go. You'll recognise the label. Yep, so they're all in there. Then I've got some minis that I just found today. So excited about these minis because they are different, but they are 4-ply from Attic Spin Dye. And I must have forgotten that I had those, but they are so beautiful. So now I've got 2 lots of minis. I've got DK minis from John Arbon, and I've got Attic Spin Dye 4-plies. So 2 different projects I can see there. This bag has my minis that I'm using for my Vlogmas. I've already put them in packets and labelled them. 1 for each day. I'm thinking I'm going to have like 2 or 3 a day. And then over here we have my black elephants, and there's that label. Anyway, my beautiful skeins. So this is my my collection of yarns. They're all there in that bigger bag and zipped up, not caked up. And yeah, is that just the most beautiful bag you've ever seen? There's black elephant, there's skein, and there is, oh golly, I've got to look at the label because it's one of my favorite too. I just can't remember what it is. Well, this one's called Gossip. Hedgehog fibers. I love you, hedgehog fibers. I have like 4 dyers that I really love for skeins, and hedgehog fibers, skein, black elephant, and Attic Spin Dye. Just love you. And John Arbon. So that's 5. Yeah. So organised today, ready to go. First of all, I'm going to get onto the glue on that bottle so that I have a nice jar, and then I'm going to cut out the rice bags, which are only take me a couple of hours to do, as they're very easy. And I'm going to line them, so hopefully I'll show you those at the end. So that's it for me for today. Happy crafting, friends, and keep well, have fun crafting. For us here in the Southern Hemisphere, it is very humid, so no thick wool for us, but yeah, we are very much in the crafting mood today. Cutting out the fabric for the project bags, for the rice bags. This is my template that I've made up. Well, my brief instructions, very easy to follow. And then I'm cutting these into 5.5, let's say 5.5 inch squares, because I want them to finish 5 inches. So I think I'll make about 6. Should be a plan. So, love my rotary cutter and my trusty ruler, and I'm going to get on to this right now. Just going to cut 5-inch strips now, and then I'll cut them into squares. I've already done the koalas and bugs. So beautiful. Now I'm doing a neutral to go with them, and it's all sheep. This is beautiful fabric. It's motor. And very, didn't press hard enough. Beautiful. And even the selvage is beautiful. It's cotton steel. Sorry, not motor, cotton steel. Screen print in Japan. It is just beautiful and very atmospheric. Sheep. This is a beautiful sheep design. Perfect for project bags. It's cotton and steel. I'm just going to cut them into 5-inch squares now. I'll cut a few layers together. I think 5-inch squares are really a good size for this small project bag, which will be perfect for socks or something small. Keep the skeins in, keep cakes in. So I'm just going to cut 5-inch squares now. Make sure my ruler's facing the right way. So out of these 4 fabrics, I've cut 4 lots, 4 lots of 8. Each bag needs 4. I'll do the base in a plain colour, and that will be it for me for today, unless I see something that I really just have to do. So I've cut out a few squares, and then I was just looking over there at the fabrics that I've got. This is one of my recent projects, and I'm thinking I'm going to use this for the lining. And I won't cut it into squares, I'll just cut it into 4 big squares instead of 4 by 4. So yeah, I'm going to use that for the lining. I think it's beautiful. And then looking at some small pieces that Judith has given me from recent projects, I'm thinking I'm going to go with all of them. I'll just cut them into 5-inch squares and have patchwork ones, which sounds like a fun thing to do. Just a couple more pieces, so I needed a few more neutrals, so I'm going to use that one for a lining, so they're not all the same. And then this beautiful one, I'll use this on the outside. I have some bicycles too, so I think that will make a nice project bag. And I'm going to keep these for a transport quilt. So I've got my squares cut out. I only got one of these, so that will go with that. And the moths and bugs is a motor. Beautiful. I love motor. It's called A Sky Without Clouds is a Meadow Without Flowers. Wow. Thorough. Even the selvage is beautiful. Those little bugs. Yeah, I do love salvages. So I've got my squares all cut out. Got the lining. ready to go. 2 lots of lining, and I'll make these now. I think the globe has blown in my sewing machine. I thought yesterday that it was the PowerPoint, but it's the globe, and there is no one to change it at the moment, so I'm going to sew without it. But I want to piece my rice bags together, and so I'm going to do that now, just chain piecing them. So I'm going to piece all the sides together, as it'll only take like a short time. Make sure my machine is on the right seam allowance. And so string piecing is the best way I've found, most economical. And just alternate the colours. This is for 2 bags, I think, in this colourway. I'll do the koalas, make sure that I have the right pieces together. So I'm going to do 4 sides, and I'm going to have them, the 4 sides all coordinating, so I won't have different colours or things, different fabrics together. I will have them as I've cut them, and yeah. When I've finished here, I will sew them the other way, and then I'll go and iron them. I'll show you what happens next. Before I get to the ironing, I don't know, I mustn't be able to count properly, but I had odd numbers left over, so now I will have coordinating bags and patchwork ones. So just cutting the chain pieced blocks. So each set of 4 is a side. Now I will open them up, see what I've got, iron them, trim them, and then piece them. So this is the idea, and there is my sewn pieces ready for the next step. My machine has 2 settings for seam allowances. It has 1/4 of an inch and an 1/8 of an inch, and for these projects, because they will be lined, I'm doing 1/4 inch seam allowance. And when I get to the center, I'll make sure that my nesting is okay. So that means the darks will go to the darker side and the light will go the other way, just to make it more flat. I'm up to the ironing, and ironing can be tricky when you're a cottage crafter with limited space. So I'm ironing in my kitchen on a glass heat-proof thing. Going to iron my seams flat before I iron them out. Then I'll trim them. I have a very basic iron also. Ironing isn't one of my favorite things, but I have to do it because I want everything to lay nicely. So just going to lift this so that the seams will be flat. Now they're ready for trimming, and I'm really happy with my centers. Like them to nest nicely, and this is the unfinished size of a block, so I think it's about 10.5 inches, and it'll go down to 10 inches. So I'll just keep on with that. I've got quite a nice little pile of sides ready to iron, and this will take me about 15 minutes maybe. I love this surprise factor. All the pieces get ironed nice and flat. Even though I've ironed them, sewn them together in an orderly fashion of what I thought would make a beautiful bag, I'm always surprised with how they look when they're ironed. And, you know, the surprise factor is, it makes it all worthwhile. For me, you know, joy in ironing. Who would have thought? But yes, there is joy in every process. I love the finish process. I love all the processes. This is why I'm a crafter. After ironing and looking at the squares that I've got pressed, I've decided to make the base, So after pressing the sides, I've decided on a size that will trim down so that they will all be same size. And I think I'm going for a 9-inch, a 9-inch block, mainly because that's how it is. Even though I cut everything to be 5.5 inches, I don't know, just happens. So they're all going to be 9.5 inches, and that will make a lovely size block. If I cut them 9.5 inches, that will be 4.5 on each side from the center. So I'll cut 4.5 this way, 4.5 this way, and it'll be 9. And that's the plan. I thought I might get a 10-inch block. So some of them are 10 inches, some are under. So I'm going to go for 9. They'll all be regular, and that's crafting. This is a block all nicely trimmed up. As I said, I measured 4.5 inches each way, and comes to a nice, regular, neat block. So I will continue on. I think I've got about 20 blocks to do, and then we'll move on to the next construction. I think I'll do the lining after I've trimmed everything. I'll cut the linings and then sewing. That might be it for this morning though, because I'm getting tired, and I can only really craft in the mornings. As I get really tired, my arthritis makes me really tired, but you know, I'm a morning person, and that's so good because I can get all mostly what I want done in the mornings, and then I have the afternoon to recover, or the next day. So when I have something that I do and I'm really focused, I will do it no matter what, and then I'll just take it easy and complain to myself and moan and groan, but you know, does no good. So my main pleasure in crafting, I have to say this, my main pleasure in crafting is seeing small pieces of yarn or fabric, beautiful fabrics, beautiful yarns, come together and make something glorious. And maybe not perfect, but you know, perfect in my eyes. And I just love the process. And then I love giving them away, or keeping them. But yeah, it's just joyful, crafting is. And I think that's why most of us do what we do, because we love it, and it's just lovely. So we are a crafting group, friends. And I'm so thankful that you're here with me, because me just talking to my phone, you know, it makes it so much better when there is company, because I'm a hermit crafter. I do have a friend, Judith, who is also a crafter, and yeah, so I'm so glad you're here with me, friends. Hope you join me for all of December. It should be fun. Hope that we get to find interesting things to talk about and look at, and yeah, that's it for me. This is lunchtime, and for lunch I usually don't have a very big lunch. I'm 71 years old, and I don't think I need as much energy as a teenager or a young person. So I'm having leftovers from last night. I'm having pizza. My son came over and his wife, and they bought takeaway pizza. I don't make pizza myself, and it's a you know, a specialty thing. And I've wrapped it in foil. It's got to wrap it in another layer of foil or two. Put it in the oven for 20 minutes and should be yummo. So that's lunch. For lunch I usually have 4 crisp breads, rye Vita or something with cheese, not cheese, don't have cheese. I would like cheese, but I don't have cheese, with a tomato slice or just Vegemite I really like on it, and a cup of tea. That's what I usually have. But today, yeah, I'm really lucky. I have leftovers, so I'm going to put that in the oven now. We're on to the next day. Oh, this is a big project because I am making 6 rice bags. I thought, you know, if I'm going to make 1, I might as well make 6 or 5. And today I have ironed rectangles that I've cut from scrap, 4 inches wide by 8 inches long, for the tabs at the top for the cord to go through. And there's a lot of prep that goes into it, so I had to iron. Ironing is a basic thing that you have to do with dressmaking, or making anything really that you want to look crisp, have crisp edges. So I ironed all these 1/4 of an inch to start with, and then I just have to fold them over so that everything is equal. And then I'll fold them in half and attach them to the bags. But yeah, I still have a way to go. So to make 1 bag, I would say, takes a long time. But if you're making 5 or 6, I'd say you could halve that time. But time really isn't the main purpose of sewing these, I've got to say. And I'm making gifts, so it's much like knitting. I am making for a purpose. That is, gifts for friends to put their yarn in, or whatever they like. And yeah, just using up some of my smaller pieces of fabric, which is always good. So today I'm doing the tabs. I've done the casing yesterday, the outside and the inside lining of 1. So I always do a prototype, even though I'm doing 5 or 6. just to make sure that it looks okay and all the proportions are right. And I put my tag in the side. Seeing I had them made, I thought I should use them. So yeah, that's in the side seam of all of the bags that I'm making. And they're handy to attach things to or just have as decoration. So yeah, it's very humid today, friends. Very humid because we had storms all last night. So I need to push on with this. I'm hoping to get a fair way into this before I get too hot and have to stop. So see how we go. It is 7 a.m. in the morning, so an early start and good for me. String piecing. I like to string piece all things that can be done in a line. Just makes life very easy. I've already done one side and I'm just doing the other side, and I haven't cut the strings. They're still in the order that I sewed them the first time. So when I get to the edge, I just make sure the needle's down. Because my sewing machine is, you know, my old faithful, I know how it will react to stopping and starting at the edge of fabrics. And it has such a lovely stitch, and I'm just so happy to have it. I'm so lucky. Got a good sewing machine. The blue is really nice. I did some hexagons with that, and that is a traditional type of Japanese fabric, although I'm not actually going for a traditional Japanese rice bag, more a patchwork square base rice bag inspired by beautiful Japanese artwork. That's me signing off for this episode, friends. Just thought I'd show you what I've made. It's finished. The rice bag, project bag. It's got the strings. I think it's quite nice. Still have to put tacking stitches to keep the lining to the base, but that's it. It's finished. I think it's a nice little bag, handy. Will go in my shoulder bag when I go out. And yeah, I'm going over to Judith's now, so I'll take some footage of when I'm out and about. I'd just like to say thank you to all my subscribers, my returning subscribers. Thank you so much. And I'm trying to stay grounded in this very chaotic atmosphere that's around at the moment. So trying to be kind to myself, and hopefully everyone will be kind to each other. We need it so much. Bye, friends.